Welcome everyone. My name is Govind Babu. I'm your anchor for this afternoon. Tata Telebusiness Services presents the CEO Talk, welcoming all the CEOs and our esteemed panelists to the talk. We would like to also welcome the General Manager, Mr. Manish Singh, General Manager of SME Operations of Tata Telebusiness Services with us. So just to get started, the CEO Talk is a platform, powerful transformative talks, high profile talks with leaders, experts in the area of technology, innovation, disruption, business continuity. The platform really helps sharing ideas and insights to transform organizations, better and transparent forum for meaningful business relationships. So I would like to welcome the esteemed panelist, Mr. Satish Kataria, MD, Avijek Advisors Private Limited, Mr. Jaswinder Singh, VP, CRM Silks Private Limited, Mr. Saurav Chowdhury, founder and CEO of Savin Communication, Mr. Chirag Bhatia, founder Mojo Bar. Hi, Chirag.
Hi.
And Mr. Sandeep Gupta, founder of Eclat Superior. Sandeep, welcome.
Hi. Thank you.
I would now like to invite so Manish, if he's there already. I don't see Mr. Manish. So just a quick background on Tata Telebusiness Services, part of the prestigious Tata Group of companies, is the country's leading enabler of connectivity and communication solutions for businesses, with services ranging from connectivity, collaboration, cloud, security, IoT, and marketing solutions. TTBS offers largest portfolio of ICT services for businesses in India. They have a fiber optic network running across 125,000 kilometers, operating in 60 countries, 60 cities, 1,400 plus partners, and the largest team of over 1,200 professionals in supporting them. TDBS is well geared up to cater to small business, large businesses as well in India, and they strive for best technology services so they improve process, reach customers more effectively, and manage workforce more effectively. Ultimately, do big. That's the theme. So the theme today is really tech advantage, how tech has enabled businesses overcome this challenging time. So I would like to, if since I think Manish is, he will get slightly delayed, but let's get the session underway. And once he joins in, then we can get his introduction going. Yes, yes, Amit Gurov, who's part of the Tata Telebusiness Services team. You can just unmute and then give a quick introduction. Can Mr. Amit be unmuted? Yeah, right now. Can you do that right now? Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Can you hear me now, Manish?
Yes, we can hear you, Amit. Hi.
Okay. Hi. Good afternoon. Sorry, I joined in a bit late, but I was not able to unmute myself because I think
okay. Sorry.
Needed the help from the host. Okay. Good afternoon to all once again, and thanks for joining in. I think it's important that we kind of share our thoughts and ideas on this forum. We have been doing this for some time now, and it's been a very enriching kind of an experience for us. I'm sure once we interact and understand each other well in terms of how we have been able to come out of this situation, or rather still in the process of coming out of this situation. I think your views and the way you have, because you've been running your own businesses, it makes a lot of difference to us once we hear success stories from across the industry. So that's the intent of this kind of a platform. Now a little bit about myself. I'm Manish. I'm the Manish Singh, rather, regional operations head in Mumbai. I've been with Tata Tele Business Services for almost 14 plus years now. Um, I kind of started my career in telecom itself. I was associated with a company called Modi Telstra, which was the first cellular service provider in India. And I'm with this industry from the time incoming outgoing call was 16 rupees 80 paisa. So I've seen the whole, and from there now I'm here where if we look at the length and breadth of the telecom space, I think it's more than a utility now. Earlier it was kind of a, the mobile phones were like a lakh plus when we were selling handsets back in 95, 96. You know, now it's so reachable, and people virtually do everything by themselves.
I'm sorry, there is some disturbance. If request all the panelists to stay muted because there is some WhatsApp message or something coming in.
Yeah, I guess so. There's a buzzing sound coming in
Yeah,
between.
there's a buzz sound coming.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Manish, sorry.
Yeah. So just to start, see, normally what happens is when we plan for the next year, the planning kind of gets completed around Jan, Feb. So when we do a budget plan for, let's say, this year, the budget plan must have got over by Jan, Feb. And when we did the plan, obviously the COVID thing was not there. So probably it started across the world, but it had not reached India to that extent. So our plans were like frozen. We had already cascaded the plan to across the teams, and we were all ready to kind of chase it up. And then this COVID hit us sometime late March, when there was a lockdown declared, and that kind of put us a little step, put us a little bit on the back foot, because we were confused as to what should be our strategy to overcome this. And the first few weeks was only replanning it with the kind of situation that we were in. But what we realized is that in this kind of a situation, we also got a lot of opportunities in terms of we did a lot of innovations, specifically in terms of getting some new products, which would help enterprises to enable their employees to work out of home. And we took massive amount of feedback from the SME vertical SME industries, because that is what we cater to as a business group, uh, as to what is it that is required to make your life a little more comfortable working out of home. What are the kind of connectivity, or what is it that you want in terms of solutions? And I'm glad that we were able to come up with quite a few of such solutions. I think in this 5-6 months itself, we must have launched almost 30 to 35 products. Okay. Whether it's a new product or whether it's a value addition over an existing product in terms of enabling somebody to work out of home, almost 30 to 35 such variations we could launch. And I'm pretty glad to kind of say that current situation, those products have really got into the market. SMEs are going for it, because this situation has made SMEs digitally forward now. I mean, they have embraced the technology, the digital advantage. And let me tell you, friends, SMEs who are digitally forward probably has seen an opportunity in this crisis. And even though it may have affected their revenues to some extent, but I think they are bouncing back uh, more fast than somebody who is not digitally forward. So I think that's the kind of my experience in terms of this situation. Thanks. Would love to hear from all. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Manish. Appreciate it, and setting the tone for our conversation. Really, yes, I think this is one of the biggest things in the minds of everyone. Is like, how did SMEs and businesses really go through this challenging situation? I mean, that's a great story to hear. That's a lot of inspiration and learning as well. I would like to first ask this question to our our CEOs really to understand, like, how did you, how did the whole situation impact you as a business? If you were to give me like 90 seconds, less than 90 seconds, a quick one, like what really went through? I mean, it's really to, capture the last 1 year of challenging thing in 90 seconds. But Sandeep, what are your, you know, so you'll have to, Sandeep, you're muted, Sandeep. You're muted. Yeah.
Yeah. You are absolutely right. First few days of lockdown, like I think 21st of March, 22nd of March, that first Janta curfew was there. So first few days, since we were absolutely in the physical mode, we had a team who was meeting with the doctors for the cosmetic products. So it was absolutely like clinics were closed, the salary burden, everything. It was absolutely, we were it was a dark in front of us.
Chaos.
We were not able to understand what is going to happen now, how I'll manage the everything like salaries and it was the month of March, in fact. So but after 15 days again, we by nature humans are optimistic, they find the way from the crisis, and that happened with me also. And corona crisis became a blessing for me. We almost grew by 10 times, in fact we never did it in past. So, and definitely I'll give the entire credit to the technology. Like Zoom was the first thing. I just what I'll do sitting at my home, I started giving the training to my people through Zoom. And then I started playing with Instagram and Facebook on social media. And suddenly the things happened in the way, because one biggest learning which I had during this lockdown, that beauty is a mandatory thing along with the roti kapda and makan. So people were asking me lot of questions on skincare, and that became a big boom. And this my brand, which was a very nominal brand, in last 6 months it became the fastest growing brand of India.
Wow.
So that was due to the technology. I would like to mention like logistic platform Shiprocket. That was the big credit matlab, in our success. In fact, we give the big credit because
so thanks a lot, Sandeep, for sharing this. Again, we're going to have multiple rounds, so when we come back,
absolutely,
we would like to know what kind of technology is enabled, so you can
definitely
Jaswinder, how about you? How did COVID impact your business?
Hello to everyone. Namaste to everyone. Okay, see, like every industry, we also suffered a setback. Again, I agree with Sandeep. It was the month of March. We are into a typical production and distribution based industry, textile and fashion. So March month is where it is like you achieve major part of your sale, and we were all set, prepared. Okay, now the goods are going on, and suddenly there's a lockdown, and we are all blank, and we could not see a way forward. Like it was like, and as a human we were very positive ki okay ab ye lockdown ho gaya hai 1 April, because it was till 31st March I believe, then it extended till 14th April. So it was like we were in that zone. Okay, this is something very temporary, but very soon we just got the edge of it. And then again technology played a big part for us to bounce back. When we pre-COVID, when we wanted to meet our people and all, we used to call up meeting. We do we have to plan in advance, 15 days in advance, take their time. And here it was like we're meeting 1,000 people at one go. Okay, so that helped us. We as a team, we got connected. We got connected with our business associates. We made them positive. So we had like 500, 600 business associates at one time, one go. We are speaking to them. We are understanding from them where things are going and all. And all that helped us to bounce back. And now year on year, we have already touched growth. So thanks to the technology. Yeah.
Excellent. How about your Satish? How was your business impacted?
Yeah, hi. I think just like everyone, for me, COVID obviously brought out the two aspects of business. Something closed and something new launched, right? So I was responsible for an early stage startup fund, right, which was kind of being supported by a real estate conglomerate. Now, because there were challenges happening in the real estate space, right, we unfortunately have to hive off this fund. But then, while one thing closed, I think it gave me an opportunity to understand that, what else the market needs, right? And I think, as everyone says, while technology is a great enabler, but more than the technology, I think what really matters is the application of technology, right? How can you apply the technology to kind of launch something which is innovative and which the market may require? And with that principle in mind, we launched a new platform. We understood that, despite a conventional fund getting closed down, can we use technology? Can we use a newer model, of evaluation of startups to bring something new for helping continue to support startups? And that is where Avijay was actually born. All while the COVID pandemic was going on. So we were able to kind of hit upon a new model. We were able to understand that how we can apply technology in a new manner to be able to evaluate startups without physically meeting them. How we can monitor their cash flows. So all those things, all those applications, we kind of developed internally, and I think that was a very interesting phase. It was almost like, instead of getting depressed that okay, things are not moving on, I think we all use this time to quickly learn something new and move on to a next phase. So that was quite an interesting phase.
Fantastic, Satish. Yeah, I look forward to hearing more about that platform. Yeah, very nice.
So,
and Saurav, how about you? How has COVID impacted your business?
So actually, we think every crisis is an opportunity for us, and you will be surprised to know that in past 10 months we have grown at 230%.
Wow, excellent.
And we have created a digital ecosystem through our various approaches, various initiatives. So when the lockdown came, there was a gap, huge gap in the market because the print was completely shut. And people were looking for the PR, and they were not able to get the things done. So what we created a parallel thing in this industry, and this is a vertical which Savin Communication has created over last 2 years. And I will also like to tell you that we are the only company in India who is having the maximum number of platforms onboarded with us. So right now, I think we are working with over 100 platforms, and today only we have onboarded 4 new platforms.
Wow.
So in the digital front, we are leading it massively. So we tried to create a digital ecosystem. That was the major agenda, and despite English, we had vernacular languages as well. So in be it Tamil, be it Gujarati, be it Malayalam. So we done huge campaigns on social media platforms, on digital platforms, and some big brands of not in India only, of the world. They also collaborated with us and did a huge campaign. And Mr. Sandeep is also our client, and he has also grown on a massive scale. So that is really that is actually that makes us happy. That's
right.
happy that someone grows because of our little help and little effort.
Yeah.
He's a very gentleman guy, and he is always there for the PR thing, and he really understands how to position the brand.
Right.
And he's excellent person. I think I'm meeting Mr. Sandeep first time on this platform only.
Yeah, I'm also. I didn't know even. But really, Savin Communication role is very important in making of eClad.
Right. Very nice. Excellent. Good to know.
This is the thing, and through technology, we are also creating new product. Okay.
Right. So Saurav, I'm going to take time out because I'm going to we want to hear the story more about it a little later as I ask more questions. But I would like to know from Chirag, how did business impact you, Chirag?
Yeah, so Govind, we started off as a proper true blue FMCG brand, and FMCG is known to be very, very traditional and one of the most are the industries where things take time to evolve. But I think one thing that we always underestimate is our capability to adapt to situations. And like Saurav just said, in opportunities, in crisis, is where we find the real opportunities, right? Because that's where uh, you sort of expedite any of the pending decisions, or some things that probably you're holding back on, and suddenly in an emergency situation, your priorities really come out in the front. And the way technology really helps is it you know gives you data right up front, right? It's very transparent. There's no gray. It's black or white. Your product is selling better or worse as compared to your other, maybe say SKUs. So we, in fact, when the lockdown happened, had made a huge batch of our product, and they were all across the country, and we had no idea of what would happen to our products, because we make energy bars, we make chocolates, they all have limited shelf life. It was a month of March, hot month, so it was really, really, unnerving for us. However, things did turn out well for us. We were able to, work hard. We were able to, adapt to the whole online platforms, and like some of the other stalwarts here, we were also fortunately able to grow our sales. In fact. What did happen is, some of our products which were doing well probably slowed down, but some of the other products which more, for example, chocolates, right? People were just indulging in like those kind of products, and the sales just went through the roof, right? Like we didn't even have our own website before the lockdown, and we said, hey, let's use this medium. And in fact, it's in a span of I'd say 6 months, it's become one of our biggest earners, so biggest contributors to the revenue. So I think technology really, it really helps you scale up in a very short span of time, provided you're able to capitalize on the right opportunities.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
And Ms. Manish, what are some of your thoughts? How did TTBS handle the challenge? While it is also has been enabling so many businesses, but as a business, how did you handle that?
Yeah, I think uh, just taking one example from Chirag, so just one kind of innovation. So as he was saying that he didn't have a website, before the kind of lockdown hit us. So one innovation that TTBS did is, now we've made it so simple for an SME to create a website. I mean, he can create a website through an app. Okay, so we have developed that app. We have some solid tie-ups through which we have done that. So for an SME now, opening his own website is, on a phone. I mean, he can do it. Uh, so going back to the topic, so as I was saying that we were really hit hard because our plannings were absolutely in disarray. We were a little confused. We didn't know what to do. What should be our next step? Uh, but thanks to the kind of R&D that we have, thanks to the IT folks in our company, we could huddle together, and we did some exercise in terms of speaking out to a lot of customers, and asking as to what is it that would enable them to uh, towards business continuity even in these challenging times. And the kind of feedback that came in, we kind of assimilated it, and did some uh, innovative product campaigns or product developments, which kind of helped. And yes, probably April was bad, but I think from May the business started looking up. We were able to help out a lot of SMEs through our connectivity services, through our network services. uh, but during this period, one has to also understand that since we are a service provider, there was immense challenges on ground, because our field engineers were not able to move, because the local trains were not working, and it is
Right.
very difficult. And but we somehow kind of took special permission, because it's an emergency kind of a services, telecom. So if there is a fault, it needs to be repaired. We need to maintain the SLA. we can't let SME or any enterprise customers suffer just because there's an outage due to whatever reason. Uh, so we were able to be, within our SLA. I mean, very successfully, we have been able to, serve our clients. And just giving an example, a couple of examples, how we kind of, waded through this situation is, uh, we were able to connect a lot of COVID hospitals, because the situation was such that they needed to kind of get in touch with each other for inventory, for any kind of resource planning, for which they needed bandwidth, for which they needed voice lines, for which they needed some backend kind of assimilation. So we were able to help them out, and well within the time. In fact, because the situation was so critical that probably we had to connect a site on fiber in 24 hours, so that was the kind of emergency situation at that point of time, and we were able to kind of help them out. Really makes us all happy, because somewhere we were able to contribute towards the cause, even as a telecom company. And that is exactly what is supposed expected out of a telecom company, to help the mass, right?
True.
So we were able to do that. uh, we were able to quickly launch some products like a webcasting, where typically in an FMCG kind of an environment, where you are not able to meet people in these times, but you would still would want to interact with them. You would want to go for some new product launches, and
Right.
probably speak to about 500 users at one point of time. So we came up with this solution of webcasting. We came up with web conferencing, just to help out, so that there is a business continuity. So there are a couple of things that we did in these times,
Right.
which is really giving us good results, and which
Good.
has given, I'm sure it'll keep on giving us good results.
Yeah. And how do you expect to finish this year? I mean, the March. How do you expect to close, like compared to last year? Just quick.
I think so. The biggest challenge for us was to keep the existing customers, intact, because it was really impacting. So a lot of SMEs probably had to really shut shop. I mean, that's the fact of the matter. Uh, Things have now started coming back to normal. We are again, they are in touch with us. So we are keeping a tab on the customers who had suffered because of the COVID situation.
Right.
And as I said, with the new product designs, we are trying to help them out, and they are now slowly coming back to the normal situation. So as compared to last year, I think if it is even similar to what we did last year, I think it would be an achievement. But we are working towards overachieving our numbers as far as last year is concerned. And all credit goes to the product design, the kind of product development that we have done, obviously, because somehow what we have felt. Uh, so 2 years back, if you look at an SME, probably the SME didn't have a very robust kind of an IT infrastructure, or the inclination to go digitally forward. But all that has changed now. All that has changed, and we hear examples, right? So we've been hearing examples in this forum itself. So it's a
Right.
community.
Right.
It's a community
Absolutely.
which has really taken technology like anything. I mean, they have understood, and the value proposition which is there, if they embrace technology, and that is helping us cause at all. I mean,
True.
that's a big help. So that's how it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Chirag, how do you expect to finish this year?
So we definitely, again, I'd say we definitely expect to close positively, which was something we definitely did not expect, when all of this started, which is why I said, right, I think we all somewhere underestimate our, capabilities. Specifically, we Indians are known to be the most quick at adapting to situations, especially adverse situations, right?
Right.
Uh, so, and I think more than closing the year, I feel like everybody, or at least we particularly, are very, very excited about the path ahead, because, um, consumer behavior is changing, right? Business models are changing. Um, there is, when all of these things happen, it gives opportunities to, smaller businesses like ours to make, quick strides forward.
Right.
That's where we can capitalize, because smaller companies tend to be a little more dynamic.
Mm.
Uh, So on one hand, I was reading this report about a very large FMCG company struggling to, make any inroads on the online model, right? Simply because, the nature of the model is such that you have to have some more customized products, and also scalability becomes an issue, right? And that's where I feel like that, it gives us, a big opportunity, that like there's a door left open, that hey, there's this, huge white space.
True.
And 1 year down the line, it's going to be a very, very different scenario. It's going to be that, the brands that are able to adapt the quickest and are able to cater to the needs the best, are likely to move or jump forward really well. So I think that's something that we are really looking forward to. We have exciting plans, all, and a lot of it is related to the, whole online channel, the, how do we sort of, channelize there. So yeah.
Right. So let's go around quickly. I just wanted to understand how are you going to finish the rest of the year. Saurav, how about you, your business?
Actually, we are upgrading ourselves. We are not closing anything. We are just moving ahead and upgrading ourselves and fixing our bugs and fixing all the things and creating more approach-based PR services for all the domains. So basically, our approach is that PR is affordable thing. PR should be affordable because in India there are around 38,000 startups registered with DPIIT. So PR is a thing that everyone needs it. Okay,
Right.
so we are creating a solution focused on startups, small businesses, so that they can afford it. And the best part is the guaranteed, the target PR. We deliver target PR. We don't promise. We deliver. So these are the things which we are going to do in coming months, and 3 more products we are launching. That is a influencers platform which we are creating right now. So that will be a huge thing which we are doing in next 2-3 months. So
Yes.
we are onboarding around 1 lakh influencers across the globe.
Wow. Interesting to see how that unfolds. Well done.
Yeah, actually, the pilot project has already been run, and it is success. It is success for now, and we are going to bring it on a huge scale.
Okay.
So we are basically upgrading ourselves on the digital front, and we believe in creating digital ecosystem, and we are creating at our level, and let's see how things goes. And
That's how you see the rest of the year unfolding. Fantastic. Sandeep, how about you, Sandeep? How are you going to close the year?
As I told you, it was absolutely magical for me, and almost we are going to close 10 times what we closed last year.
Wow, awesome.
So it is, and my definition of growth has changed. It has changed from YOY to MOM. So because India is huge, and I just, because we lot of times see crisis made us learn.
Yeah.
We never, because we are always in a comfort zone. We just make our arena. Okay, this is the world. While when we come in crisis now, when we just see outside the box, so it is entirely a different world. We never planned on a paper this thing what we are doing right now.
Right.
So it is MOM. Like I don't know what we are going to do next year, because what Saurav was telling, he was the person. He is a very big contributor in my growth. In fact,
Wow.
because the way, see, it was as an independent. Why I took the name of Ship Rocket? We were approaching to every single courier person for logistic, like Blue Dart was, like DHL. But Shiprocket was the one platform where I got every courier company on one single platform, and at a very affordable price. The COD amount, everything was right on time. So I need not to focus on logistics. I was just working on my marketing part.
Right.
The same way Savin Communication, they were giving me, like previously I used to have a connection with Times of India, Femina, different. But one Savin Communication is giving me every day, sir, this is the opportunity, this is the opening, this is the opportunity, this is the opening. So I was like, my job was to just to deliver, not to find out.
True. Very good.
Like
Excellent.
75% of your job is over. You just spend your energy in discussing this thing, what to be done, which is the best agency. So here, absolutely, and it was so transparent. Nobody can do in between. Like when we have got our own e-com website, it was all plugins. Like Shiprocket was, like Razorpay. This was the thing. It made the life so easy.
Right.
Money was like, we were selling the product. To be very frank, we were selling the products on credits.
Right.
And just to get the payment, it was a cycle of around 6 months. Now it is like it's advance.
Wow.
We are dispatching after we get the payments.
Well done.
So it was absolutely a big transformation, and that's why I just want to share that India has got the power, and population is not the curse. Resources are unlimited, and fortunately we are superb in technology. Our brain, our technology, we are ruling the world in technology, and that is the one thing which is making me confident that we are going to rule the world.
Excellent. Thanks, Sandeep. Thanks for sharing. Jaswinder, how about you? How do you see yourself finishing this year?
Going are very positive. We are sure to reach a positive side. See, fashion industry is more of a touch-based, touch, feel, and try kind of industry, whereby a consumer touch the product and they buy the product. So now this COVID has diminished that interaction with the product of the consumer. As a retailers, we all retailers for that matter have learned to give a very good safe shopping experience. Things have changed. The consumer are feeling safe and all. And in terms of tier 2, tier 3 cities, we have seen a massive growth in terms of. Then there's a lot of adoption of technology in terms of B2B app what we introduced, so that there is a proper replenishment of stock in the market. And with all this and with good marriage season what we had in November, December, which has taken us forward. So we see on a very positive note that we will, we are growing in this particular year. And again, cash flow, working capital has improved. COVID has been an opportunity to improve your working capital. The credit periods, which were really for textile industry, was on a higher side, and everybody has. Everybody knew that retailers are the only people who gets cash, and then the entire ecosystem works. So now everybody has learned a big way. There is a credit period. This is the only limit of period what credit period you need to give. There's an inventory rotation is happening very good. So we are very positive. I think we'll end this year on a positive note.
Very good. Excellent. And Satish, how about you?
Yeah. So I think, as I said, so I think while the numbers may take some time for me to come, because what we have done is, we have entered into a new space. But I think the kind of potential, the kind of feedback that I'm getting from the market, because with this pandemic, there have been a lot of new opportunities and an opportunity to explore new models of fundraising and of funding startups which have come across to us. And I think whoever I'm talking with, everyone is just kind of asking me that when will you launch, because we really want to now use this model, because all the conventional funding models have also changed, and they, because of their own limitations, are not able to adapt the way we can adapt now, because we have launched and taken a next leap, because of the challenge that we are facing. So because of the fact that we have a gap in the market, instead of just wasting our time there, we were able to take a leap into the next generation of funding solutions. And I think in that perspective, I'm quite excited about the potential that is there for us to explore.
Right. Good. So very good. Thank you all. Next question, which comes to mind is, there is so much about work from home and work from office. There's so much of debate saying that, look, which is better, which helps, or contributes in productivity. So if I were to kind of take a poll with the panelists, if you were to raise your, let's say, left hand for work from home, right? Left thumb for work from home. and right for work from office. And if you're saying hybrid, namaste for hybrid. But what would you say? So can I take a show of hands? Yeah, it's namaste from most of you.
For my industry, certainly.
Yeah, I think Sandeep and Saurav are in for working from office only, right?
Absolutely. That discipline is very much needed. I think in the era of technology, it's absolutely, there is no difference between home and office, but definitely I feel office gives more discipline.
Mm-hmm.
Work-life balance has to be managed.
And Saurav, sorry, what did you say, Saurav?
Work-life balance has to be managed. I have seen people working from.
Absolutely.
They are actually some of the people, some of the friends of mine are feeling the burnout thing. I see them like they are some depressed person. So that I really don't want to see any of my colleague working around.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the thing. We emphasize on work from office culture.
Right.
So I think while I agree with Sandeep and Saurabh, so obviously office brings a lot more discipline. It brings an opportunity to be able to communicate with your colleagues, and do a lot of live brainstorming, which doesn't happen in a work from home environment, despite all the Zoom and all the features, right? But then I think on the other hand, because of the lockdown, because of the situations that we already had to work in, it then also depends a lot on the individual, because if I look at the advantages, there are definitely are advantages of working from home because, I think my meetings have become a lot more productive. I do not have to now waste time to do a lot of advanced planning because earlier we used to do a lot of advanced planning because we have to take into account a lot of parameters like the time that you take in traffic, where will you meet, how will you meet, so all those parameters are gone. Now we know that I think in terms of utilization of time, if you can maintain your own discipline of office work and homework, right, I think you can really kind of extract the benefits of working from home as well.
Absolutely. No, well said. I think, yeah, there are different views there. It's always a topic of debate. But I think when we go back to last March, when the lockdown happened, March, April, when totally things were disrupted, right? I think work from home was, at least many people said like, hey, like a honeymoon period, right? The first 2 months was like, wow, great. After that reality kicks in, right? But then if I were to ask you all, what is the single biggest technology adoption that you did to really ensure business continuity? See, suddenly business was thrown out of gear, but what really ensured business continuity? I know, see, obviously technology like whatever we are doing right now, video conferencing was useful, but then what was one of the biggest thing that if you want to share, Chirag, you want to share what was one of the biggest technology?
So for us, I think one of the biggest mediums that we really took towards was, moving towards the whole online communication, the online marketing, the social media, that entire angle has really, really helped us transform our business, right? It's literally saying that, here we are, we had a whole team where they would go, door to door, shop to shop, right? Wait for, say, half an hour, 1 hour for every single store before the shopkeeper even sort of looked at him, gave him, probably a smaller, order as per his mood of the day. To now, wherein we are in a position where we have like showcased our product probably to the entire country and saying, hey, whoever wants it, at the click of a button, just get it. So I think number one is like adapting to the whole online communications, and the second part I would also say is streamlining the whole logistics aspect. Like Sandeep said, like I think logistics can make it or break it for you, because the expectations of consumers nowadays are just like at incredible levels. Like Amazon has, I think, spoiled the Indian
the bar very
consumer.
high.
It's like to an extent, and we are a product. For example, Mojo bars, right? Are meant to sort of give you energy and sort of keep you filled, a lot of it are impulse purchases, right? So when you feel hungry around like say 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, that's where you derive the best benefits out of this product. And people would order the product, and a lot of them would say that, hey, can I get it by tomorrow? So I'm here, I'm supplying the product from Bombay. Someone orders in Kerala and wants delivery within 24 hours. Uh, so we are really really working hard to achieve next day deliveries. So I think logistics also is sort of like a deal breaker for us that we've realized.
Got it. Got it. That's good. And Jaswinder, how about you? You were speaking about how you connected with your people across the nation. What was one of the biggest technologies which ensured business continuity?
See, we are a product-based industry whereby we have business associates who see the products and buy the products from us. We are a production and distribution-based company with retail, some sort of retail as we have 200 outlets across 250 outlets pan India. Now, the best what we thought was that we could not book orders, so we did very good virtual conferencing, which was as good as real virtual conferencing. When each and every aspect of a product was, we gave them an experience like they were, they are buying live. So we did entire video conferencing kind of aspect. We developed it, and we had the absolutely fantastic response as far as our business associates are concerned. And for auto replenishment, we had developed this B2B app, okay, whereby for small replenishment, we had a B2B app so that my end consumers as well as my B2B business associates should not feel short of any kind of range in the products. So that's two things what we did which helped us uh, fantastically well. Yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. Excellent. Excellent. And Saurav, how about you?
We tried many things. We tried many things, but to a major contribution, I would say Facebook, WhatsApp, and some platforms of Zoho. That has really helped us in streamlining all the processes of our work initially, and now we are using Salesforce. So this technology product has really helped us to streamline everything because we have to do a lot of paperwork. Um, that is tremendous. So these technologies have really helped us to grow and to minimize all the things which took a longer time. So these products have really helped us. So
Right. Right.
in our growth, they are really a good contributor, I would say.
Right. Right. Excellent. And Ms. Sandeep, for business continuity.
As I told you, my total revamp is due to internet. So I give the credit to everyone, starting from internet speed, like Geo.
Right.
They have provided the free of cost internet. So everybody was putting more time on the mobile. So I was getting more customer. Definitely, then Instagram is the second one. They made me connected with the people. Third thing, definitely, when it was to deliver, it was Shiprocket, and when to optimize, it was Savin Communication through multiple digital platforms. They gave us like 6 months back. If you'll see, if you'll take my brand name Eclat, so there was nothing on Google. But if you'll just put Eclat and just put the news section, so it's full of news. So almost all the newspaper has covered in last 6 months Eclat, the growth of Eclat. So that credit. So it was absolutely because, and we never met each other. That was the thing. We just did the video conferencing, Zoom call, that team, Google Meet, everything. So this was the, like, everything happened with me. It was absolutely a technological, because of the technological advancement, and each and every has got the credit for that. I can't give it to one because I was absolutely working like a parasite. What has the people has developed, I just took the advantage of that.
Right. Right.
I think just to sort of add into Sandeep's point also is that not just what has added but also what has been removed from our the whole day to day. Like he rightly said, right, there were so many unnecessary meetings. Probably if he had to sign up with Savan initially, right, Savan, he would have had 3 or 4 meetings, whereas now it's more about, okay, you guys can execute this for us. Let's give it a shot. Let's try it, and then accordingly take it ahead. So I think that the decision making has really been ramped up, I feel.
Right. Very
Yes,
nice. And Satish, how
absolutely.
about you? Satish?
Yeah, no, I think in my scenario, obviously it was your video conferencing tools because like Zoom and Google Meet, I think was really played a role because we have to interact with a lot of investors and entrepreneurs and help them to connect with each other. So that I think that became a major part of my continuity operations, and also we have been able to start working on a lot of data analytic tools and data and machine learning, in that sense. So that is something that we are now trying to build up. So we are working on those technologies. We are working on right from starting from your simple chat analysis to simple your numbers evaluation and numbers crunching. Your predictive analysis. So all those number crunching and data analytic tools is something that has really been helping us.
Right. And Mr. Manish, how do you see what were some of the biggest technology adoptions that you saw with your key clients?
Yeah. So in our case, how it happens is that see, we have to split it into two parts. One is our existing base of customers, who have been with us for a pretty long time. The other is getting in touch with the new customers, right? So and our kind of a job is a little different because it's since it's enterprise solutions. And it's a consultative selling. So there's no box that I'm going to push, right? So we are not a box seller. So we sell solution where it is extremely important that we are in touch with the customer, because we have to design, we have to customize a lot of solutions for which we need to interact. So definitely these online platforms, which are our own platforms like web conferencing and webcasting, we were able to use it and have those online meetings with the customers, whether existing or the new customers, where our entire team and the backend team, irrespective of where they are, we were able to join together along with the customer, hear them out, and provide a solution. So definitely those online platforms helped, and it was extremely critical for us to spread the word, because we were launching new products. This is the kind of innovation and the feedback we got. So we need to reach out to a massive scale. So digital marketing really helped us, and we use that appropriately to spread the word that these are some of the solutions which we have come up with now, and I'm sure this will really make a lot of value proposition to you in the current situation. So I guess these are the two things which we really have used it, and has helped us.
Right, right. Thanks. And now the question comes when technology adoption was done to ensure business continuity, like certain traditional businesses, like for example, just in this business, traditional business which had to adapt so rapidly. I mean, when I speak to so many entrepreneurs and business owners across the nation, one thing they say is like, look, Govind, what would have actually taken us next 5-10 years, we were forced to adapt in within 6 months, right? And actually this, yes, for businesses I see it's very, very good. For the society, there's a lot of things that has gone back, but then the people, you know so there's been a lot of resistance to change. There's been a lot of like saying, what to say, uh, not so good feeling, saying that, hey, why am I asked to adapt or change, because I'm so used to doing it this way. So question to Jaswinder and others as well is like, what did you see as a challenge for this adoption? What do you see as the biggest resistance from people when it comes to adopting new technologies to ensure business continuity and all?
See, see, as a traditional business, you said, the textile is a traditional business. There was an organizational resistance because the people in our industries are more in a way of traditional working. So getting them to that mode, and you have to start from beginning. The training and development was very important aspect because they need to understand the entire technology. They are not very techno savvy. The people who are our front end people who gets us the business, who are in the market, and they have to be very techo savvy. Though they are not, there's not many skilled workers as far as when it comes to factories, manufacturing. No, so we need to get that. Plus, sometimes what happens, we get married to legacy, old business model legacy, and it's very difficult to change it. So we had our own time. We have to motivate them. We have to give them a right environment to work. We have to give them very realistic targets to achieve, and all that put together, our confidence put together, we got our team intact and all. Now they don't want to go back. They now absolutely want to do something very digital. I can give an example. When okay, being a traditional business, if they have to procure order, they have to carry some kind of samples with them, which may weigh say 30, 40, 50 kgs and all. And they were used to traveling it now. Now with this B2B app coming up, and they want more order from that B2B app, which is reducing their lot of hard work, traveling, and they're more safe. And believe me, Govind, they're absolutely into it, and they're procuring more orders, and they're very happy about it. Even the retailers are very happy about it because they're saving their time. People going there, visiting, taking their 2 hours to entire select the range. Though it is little difficult because they're not touching and feeling the product, but again, retailers are also getting in tune with it. So that's the way we just
Interesting.
put it together.
Interesting. How a traditional business, kind of adapted. And Chirag, your team, of course, looks like your business it's a traditional business, but then you leapfrogged directly into technology thing. So how did it happen for you? Was there much of resistance, or people say that, hey, this is what we should have done long back?
For us, see, frankly, it came more also from a sense or purpose of survival, because at that moment it seemed like that was the perfect and the only thing to do. Frankly, however, the whole online transformation was something that our team was already sort of working towards even before COVID. Uh, what happened post COVID was it just got really fast forwarded, and because like I said, it came more from a sense of survival, right? We wanted to prosper, and it just seemed like online was the way to go, right? Everywhere else, there's a lot of uncertainty. So it was more of in terms of getting the right team to getting your team to adapt to the situation, and getting the right team also for the right sort of a the scenario, what the scenario asks for. I think what tends to happen is no one likes uncertainty, and business, unfortunately, there's always uncertainty. Every single decision you take, you don't know if that's going to work out or not, right? And that's why we founders become the fall guys, because we take a decision. If it's right, we're heroes. If it's wrong, we're like, people will tell us, what were you even thinking? So unfortunately, the uncertainty is always there, and somewhere in the current scenario where everything is uncertain, in fact, you don't even know if half of your team will show up. In fact, like in my team, I think I had pretty much every 2 weeks I had one person being home quarantined, right? Some of my suppliers were quarantined, right? So like in all that uncertainty, I think online does offer you that kind of the certain orders. You're at least, like Sandeep also said, that the money is going to come, right? The cash flow won't get blocked, because a bulk of your cash flow is already blocked, because of the COVID lockdown, everything. So what you need right now is cold hard cash in your pocket. Right. So you're going to go chase that, to ensure you're able to get through the year.
True. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And Sandeep, from what you said, your business has grown so many fold, but how did the team accept it? Was there much of resistance to change, or how was it?
See, in my opinion, your employees are generally not happy with your growth. because they just want to move in their own fashion. If I'm not talking of today, this is from my last 25 years, whatever as an entrepreneur, as an CEO of the company I was conveying, so they were having their own perception about the working. So it was the thing, like it was without, matlab, that was not controllable. Everything is controllable, but IT is not controllable. So what I believe, in India, we can just divide the population in two parts, 40 plus and less than 40. Like less than 40-year population, that is absolutely tech savvy. And as Jaswinder rightly told, nobody wants to do hard work. So adaptability will be very easy. Now the people, they just want to work with Swiggy. They just want to work with Zomato for 2 hours. They just want to run their Uber for 2 hours and they want to earn like 20,000-30,000 rupees. They are happy with that.
Yeah.
So they just want, they know the ways to earn.
Right.
So it's all the app-based world. It's absolutely technology. So now it's not the rich and poor, basically. It's basically how much time and how much earning I'm going to have with this timing.
Right.
So it is absolutely possible because of the technology. Now it is not I don't know the people like literacy rate, what is the literacy rate, but almost everyone to whom I know, whether he is the person who is earning, like my, even the Kamwali Bai, she is using the WhatsApp. In which language she is using, I don't know, whether she is using in Gujarati, English or Hindi, but she is using the WhatsApp. So that is the adaptability is going to be very easy. What I believe in next coming month, like delivery business and all this business is logistic business, it is going to grow multifold, and that has happened. Now, like Corona was the one thing, like post pandemic. Why I'm telling you that made the people. It was a compulsion to the people. Previously, it was an option. An option, there was like two poles were there. One was they were believing in hardcore selling, traditional selling. They just want to go and touch. Now, because of the fear, they don't want to go there, and now they want to buy. There was some people, they were having the fear with the banking transactions through online. Now it is a compulsion.
True. Very
but
good.
Definitely it's very easy way to grow.
Yeah.
And that is the only reason. That's why I am very much confident the people will adapt it very fast, and next few years you will see it is absolutely going to be a changed world.
Right. Okay. And you, Saurav?
Actually, we are into communication business, and we had already planned our things digitally very well before the pandemic. Okay, and thanks to COVID, the things which I was thinking after 2 years, the growth which I was seeing after 2 years, I got it in 9 months. So we were already communication savvy, and we call ourselves as a communication artist. So we had bring all the things on digital platform, and we had already engaged every stakeholder, every client, every person who works with us. So everyone is digitally connected. So from day one of the company establishment, when we started this, so we were completely focused on the digital platform for the communication. So it was not that tough for us to make understand people how technology works, but we had already done it.
Good. Excellent.
Sure. So I think I would just like to add one point. I totally agree with Sandeep. I think India and China, if I look at the rate of technology adoption, I think in this year, while China has given us the COVID, but they've also given us a super scale of adopting the technology. I think so that whole difference when I was looking at what apps are doing in China, I think that entire ecosystem has now come into India. We are now making payments automatically. We do not have to even wait for the UPI IDs. Things are just moving on a very rapid scale. Even people who are beyond 40, who are always shy of technology, who are always shy of online transactions, have to now look at it. They have now learned it and actually are finding it much more convenient, than your physical method. So I think that factor has definitely come, and I think it is driven by the need eventually, right? Because what Indians have realized that if they do not do it, they will be just left behind and no one will come after them, right? So they have to do it because there is no other way. There was it was the kind of physical lockdown which was imposed. There was no other way but to adapt to digital route of interacting, communicating, transacting, and that is what has happened. And I think things will now change to maybe a very different scale as we move forward from here.
True. Well, very well said. Well said. And talking about work from home, this question of productivity comes up, right? Like, hey, look, when everybody was within one roof and you were able to see your employees and team, and productivity was ensured in a particular way. Of course, now with work from home, freedom is there, but how do you ensure productivity? So were there some specific tools or methods or ways by which you ensure productivity increase, or would you suggest or recommend some technologies which can really enhance productivity of the workforce? Who, I mean, for some they are still at work from home, or some hybrid, some thing. So, Chirag.
So frankly, I really feel, again, I think someone else mentioned on the call that it really depends on person to person. I like to take a more kind of a holistic approach to this, where I feel like at the moment, at least in the previous year, you couldn't take it only from a work-life balance, right? But I think moving ahead, people will find ways to become more and more productive, right? Earlier, people would probably work at 50 or probably 60% productivity, but you probably couldn't blame them either, because, like, for example, there are families, they have children, right? You're working and you have, say, your child bouncing on your shoulders and demanding certain things, right? You will be distracted. There might be some issues at your home where you might not even uh, anticipate, but I think now, moving ahead, as and as things are getting more and more organized, right? It will, I think the productivity will start going up. I feel like companies will also find ways to measure that productivity, but also, employees themselves will be able to, devote, more productive time.
Any specific enterprise tools or anything that comes to mind to ensure productivity?
No, not that we've used any of this.
Okay. Saurav?
I don't think productivity can be measured if the person has been given some sales target. Okay. Otherwise, you can't measure the productivity in our business. Actually, in the communication business, you can't measure the productivity. So we have to sit around, we have to discuss around, we have to do a lot of research for the work. So it is not possible from work from home culture, which I personally feel. If you are at home, be at home and just enjoy with your family. Don't do the work. That is the thinking which I am having. So
Right.
I think today there's a whole plethora of apps and tools which companies have been adapting, to give them almost a similar environment which they were earlier getting into an office. So you have your tools which are being able to track your time that you're spending on your work. There are tools on which you can collaborate your documents with each other. You can simultaneously work on the documents, and kind of ensure that the documents are something which is required and as per the provided guidelines. And I think also, the role of HR or the role of CEOs and the people drivers become quite critical out here. So if you really want productivity from WFH, and you understand that the time, actually the productive time has been condensed. While they were required to be in office for 8 hours, because those 8 hours also looked at 2 or 3 hours of just getting into the motion, going for lunch, just roaming about, standing near the water coolers, so that time is now reduced. So actually, even if you can give them a productive time of 6 hours and then expect them to now spend the remaining time with their family or follow their own pursuits, I think from a company perspective, I have been able to get a similar productivity from my employees, right? And I do not have to then, stick to an 8-hour routine. I do not have to kind of barge on their personal timings. I've been able to give them sufficient their timing to be able to innovate more and have their own white space so that they can think of more innovation. They can come up with more interesting ideas. And I think even employees understand that if they are responsible, even if you are not asking them to be in office for particular 8 hours, they might say that, okay, I was with my family in the first 4 hours of the day, but now in a late night I have my own time, so I will complete this work and I will send this work out to my office team.
Right,
So I
right.
think that synergy between
That balance,
your
brings
people,
the
your
balance,
people manager, your CEO, your HR guys, and employees. If that synergy can be balanced, I think a lot can be achieved even from a WFH kind of environment.
Very good, very good. And Sandeep, what kind of enterprise solutions would you recommend to kind of enhance productivity? Yeah, you're muted, Sandeep. You're muted, Sandeep.
Yeah, I think as far as productivity is concerned, I don't think that anybody can control the things. There are two types of people. Like, I always believe productivity is equivalent to intentions, what you want in your life. So there are two type of people. They have got the intention to grow, and they don't have the intention to grow. So they will be getting motivated and they don't need any app. And there are the second kind of people. They will always require some tools to get, like, you have to just check them, you have to pressurize them to perform. But the second, like the first group, no, they are self motivated, they are having the intention to grow. So there is absolutely no need for any kind of, because I have interacted lot of people as an employer. There are a lot of employees. So one person to whom I need not to tell anything, he is coming, sir, this job is finished, now what's next? And the second person is telling, sir, it is getting finished, it will take one more day, it is going to just give me one more day. So there are two types of people. So whatever, now as an employer, I'll have to just decide how I am going to get my work done. So it's absolutely, it's a matter of HR. In fact, it's not a matter of tool. You can just put it like, you can just, people are so intelligent. I'm just telling you, forget the work. I'm just telling about my daughter. Now their online classes are there. What they do, they just on the classes and they just sleep it. They just mute. They just do the video off, and then they will just say the connection is not there, internet is not there, data is going, my pack is over. So these kind of excuses they have got. So there are two types of people. They will just give you the excuses for not performing, and there are the people, they will just give the reasons to perform.
True. Very true. Well said.
So there are lot of tools are there in technological era. When you will just fix, the people will come in the office, they will do the that fingerprinting and everything, and after coming in the office, what they will do, ultimately the thing is, your job should be finished in the given time. So that is the task oriented we have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And if there is one thing which is your biggest learning from this pandemic, Sandeep, just one sentence, what would you leave the audience with?
One has to be optimistic. Whatever the crisis, life is one. We will see lot of other crises, but one has to be optimistic, find out the way. God is great, and it is giving you the difficulties just to find out the better ways.
Yeah, fantastic. Jaswinder?
I agree with Sandeep that we have to be optimistic, and about that we have to be humans. We have learned to be humans now. A lot of people were thinking they are above humans, and the nature has got to them. And above all, we have to be very good humans. We have to be respectful to all our colleagues, juniors, seniors, our family members, our friends, everybody. And we have to be very dedicated in terms of our work, upgrade ourselves, keep learning, which will help us to grow. And regarding motivation factor, I would like to add every every individual have a very different motivation factor to work. Some were more attracted towards finance aspect, some were more attracted towards rewards, some are awards like work from home, like somebody coming from Kasara to Low Parel. So for them, working from home would be a motivating factor because 3 घंटा लगा के वो local train में आ रहा है और 3 घंटा लगा के जा रहा है. So 6 hours is wasted. So I don't know what kind of productivity he would be able to give. So as a HR, if we need to understand that aspect, and training and development. Training and educating an employee is very important aspect. If time permits, I would like to share one small thing. So there was this business head and there was this CFO. CFO always saves money for the organization. So business head goes to this CFO and says, I wanted to train my employee and educate them. And CFO asks him, like, what is the cost? The business says, this is the cost. CFO says, oh, what if they leave the organization after they get trained? And this business head says, what if they stayed and we don't train them? What will happen? It's a perspective how we look at it into. So training, education, there's a lot of factor contributing. So that's what I would like to conclude.
That's a big learning. Okay. Saurav, what's your big learning that you want to share?
Patience is the biggest learning for ourselves. Patience is the biggest learning, and we always say, "Aane do, dekh lenge."
Chirag?
I'd say patience and adaptability. Those are the two things you have to just be at it, and just wait for the right time.
True.
Yeah.
There is this thing about, dinosaurs were so huge, but they became extinct, whereas cockroaches still are there simply because they have adapted. So I think adaptability is a very important thing, especially in challenging times. Satish, what is one big learning coming out of the pandemic?
I think I agree with what most of my fellow panelists have said. But there's two things which I would like to add to the list is, eventually it boils down to your own intention and sincerity, right? So if you are sincere towards achieving a particular objective, and if it's not happening through A, maybe you find a way B to do it, right? But if you're sincere and if your intention is to get the result done, I think it will eventually happen. So that is what you really need to, understand and focus that those two components are there, and you intend to do it, in the desired manner.
True. And Manish, what's your big learning coming out of pandemic that you want to leave everyone with?
Yeah, sure. So I guess everybody's covered everything. So, but personally, speaking basically two words. One is adapt and innovate. I think we have really got good success with these two parameters. I'm sure it still holds good for the others. So adapt and innovate, because keep your thinking caps on. I mean, no matter what is the situation. I'm sure, as somebody was saying that Indians, we don't leave things so easily. So if there is a challenging time, we'll huddle together and we'll find out a solution. So I think adapt and innovate, probably my experience on this.
True. And on a closing note, Sandeep, how do you get your updates? And this has been a debate right through. But what is your source of getting updates, or do you follow some influencers? Just closing thoughts, few words, and then I would like to. This is
see, as far as update is concerned, that's why I will just add with Manish. The opportunity comes who is prepared for that. Actually, I was just listening almost 20 years back, Narayan Murthy, the same thing, we were ready for the opportunity. We were just working since 1985 and 1991, the opportunity came and we were the only company they were prepared. So that was the one thing he just spoke in, I think, Oxford and Harvard. So that thing I learned from that day, and I was just prepared with the things. To be very frank, it was not done in one day. In April, since I was on Instagram, I was on Facebook, I was working on social media with my brand. So it was very easy for me to immediately change over. So you have to learn whether this is usable or not. You have to envision the future. What is going to be, your vision should be very, very clear. What is going to happen next 4 or 5 years? And like the things, you have to just observe the changes from the past, like what has changed in last 5 years and what will be the speed in next 5 years. So if you are not able to understand that particular, that if you are not able to understand the journey from last 5 years to the next 5 years, that is very, very important. So whatever the crisis, whatever the opportunity, it is not only the crisis, the opportunities are flying every day. New kind of opportunity is coming. I am just giving you the last example. I'm just giving you the Grofers. Grofers, it was absolutely, it was closed 2-3 times. And that Big Basket, they were a loss-making company. And after this Corona pandemic, they become a big event. Like, this is absolutely a big thing.
Okay, fine. And Saurav, just that question about what influences you? What do you read, or where do you get your updates? Do you follow somebody?
I get updates through various tools. As I have already mentioned, we use technology at very vast level. So we get updates on our products which we use. And for the things, I'm a learner, and I study a lot about my industry, what happens around the globe, what happens around my industry. So to keep me updated, I have to read a lot, because in a PR industry, you will have to know everything, each and everything, because you have to educate people. You have to understand what people think. And so basically we persuade things. So we have to be updated through various media.
Any particular influencer whom you've been following through the pandemic?
Not really. I don't follow any person. So I read a lot. I particularly don't follow anyone.
Good. Okay, Jaswinder?
Same, like in today's digital world, we have so many sources. Not a single to mention, and whatever you see you like. I'm also an avid reader, so I read a lot. I listen to Harish Salve sometimes. He talks really good, and there are a lot of other sources and all. So
right.
Yeah.
Satish, how about you? Sorry, I lost you there.
Yeah, no worries. So I think obviously, I think as Jaswinder and Saurabh would mention, one thing that I've kept to during this entire time is being able to read a lot of books, a lot of influences. Indeed, I was fortunate to use this time to write my own first book and launch it in the market. So I wrote a book on my learnings of an entrepreneurial journey in the last 20 years. So that was an interesting phase, and I think some of the tools that I use very often are tools like Medium, which are able to give you very nice aggregated articles. I'm using Blinkist, which kind of give you summaries of very interesting books within just 15-20 minutes, so you do not have to spend about 8 to 10 hours going through a book. So I think I've been able to use some of these tools to kind of keep myself motivated and also kind of build one's psyche and kind of try to get internally strong.
Excellent. And Chirag, how about you?
Well, I have a very different approach. I feel like right now, because the times are so radically different, no one's probably experienced this, right? So I feel like we are probably going to be the more experienced ones, and can probably, I think it's all going to be about trial and error.
True. Very true. Very
yeah,
true.
Yeah.
And Mr. Manish, what about you? Who's your influencer? What do you read?
Nobody in particular, Govind, but being in Tata Group, we have such a rich legacy, so there is enough and more, influencers within the group itself, and a lot of case studies that I normally go through, which is within the group itself, which kind of gives me the path for the future. So. But yes, as an individual, I do kind of read a lot about the group, about Ratan Tata, about J.R.D. Tata. I think my inspiration, quite a bit of it, really comes from there. So that's it.
Right. And any closing thoughts as we wrap up?
Yeah, sure. So I think first and foremost, thanks a lot. I think it's an extremely great session that we have had today, and really great listening from everyone. However, as a just one point which I would just wanted to kind of as more and more we are adopting to technology, just a moment of caution is cybersecurity. So because that was a threat earlier, that's still a threat now. I think even more because most of the work is now on the online platform. We're using the internet more and more for our business. One needs to be extremely cautious in terms of cybersecurity because somebody somewhere is still watching you, so and trying to make inroads into your database server. So we have to keep our database, we have to keep our internal stuff extremely safe. So TTBS is doing a lot on that. We have products, but I'm sure there are enough and more options which is available. But one needs to be aware of the threats and take enough and more precautions just to keep their company data safe. So that as a parting comment, that I just want to leave it with the this thought. I want to leave it with the group. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manish. And I would like to really thank our CEOs this afternoon, Sandeep, Jaswinder, Satish, Chirag, and Saurav, for so generously contributing their share of their stories. And really, it's very inspiring because all of you said that business is rising. So this is really good to hear and leave this session on a positive note. And really appreciate you sharing the the ideas from the tech side and what worked well for you, and it's a great learning. So with this, I would like to thank Tata Tele Business Services team, rising to the challenge, the talk, and really this is look forward to seeing many more such contributions from you. And thank you very much, our participants, for being here today with us.